Spacey Sims, and we are back with more Your Dry Delight. And I think this might be... I'm going to skip. I think this might be the last part, because we are going to go down Leslie's path, so we've got some stuff. We'll see. This part, or maybe one more, just to kind of get the full ending. So we're going to go down his path. I'm going to skip through everything we've read. We'll see his stuff, but we're going to choose all the opposite answers so that we know we get all the Leslie stuff right. Anyway, don't worry, I got this. I feel like a kid trying to get permission to leave home. He does know that I've done other undercover missions, right? No need to worry about me, boss. And this may come as a surprise, but I can tie my own shoes, too. Oh, so you've been letting me tie them so I wouldn't get my feelings hurt. Richter, I'm touched. He flashes me a playful grin, although it doesn't do much to mask the concern still in his voice. I know him well enough by now to see through his mask, for better or for worse. Unless there's anything else important, boss, I'm gonna head out. All right. Okay. Spit it out. I spray my drink all over the man next to me. Hey, what's the big idea, you yutz? Yutz? Yutz is a Yiddish word that refers to an idiotic jerk or annoying person. Sorry. Jesus, that's bad. What does Ed do in his bathtub? One's enough for me, right? That's one. Well, to be honest, one of Ed's special is about all the Ed I can take. Is that so? You seem like someone who can take quite a bit more. I think you're just being humble. I can take quite a bit more, but not of drink. But you? Yes. What? Nothing. And no, really, I like my tongue too much to put it through more of Satan's mouthwash. The music is fucking jamming in this shit. I love it. Something sweet to mask how bad it tastes? Meyer stares at me in stunned silence. What? What's with that look? A small choke sound leaks from his throat, the kind you make when you're stifling a laugh. He's razzling me again, isn't he? Razz. To razz someone is to heckle or tease them. It comes from a shortened form of raspberry in the sense of a contemptuous sound. Yes, of course, something sweet. I understand. I'll make sure to take excellent care of both you and your refined palate. And he flirted with me. He may have been flirting with me. He what? He raises his voice incredulously, jaw dropping. Oh, so we were never going to go to the party. Oh, no, we are going to the party. Right, this is before the party. Okay, never mind. Well, could have been that I just misread things, but... the nerve! Unacceptable! Leslie pushes out of his chair and begins to pace around the office. I can't tell if he's genuinely angry or just fussing like he normally does. How dare he... flirting with my junior partner! Really? That's the issue you have with it? I'm sorry, I bashed my microphone before. Poor, small, defenseless little Richter, at the mercy of some cruel gangster. If only I'd been there. I'm bigger than you, boss. This Meyer had better watch out. Mark my word... Boss. He freezes when I call out to him in frustration. Well, when he gives me that innocent, did I do something wrong expression, I can't really stay annoyed, can I? Would you just please sit down so I can finish my report? Oh, you weren't finished. Sorry about that. Sheepishly clearing his throat, Leslie sinks back into his chair and nods for me to continue. Meyer offered me a deal for information. A deal? You're serious? Oh, so we did go back to the thing. It's full of a golden liquid, but I don't recognize the label. You wanted something a little sweeter, right? You remembered? I have an excellent memory, especially when it comes to people who catch my interest. Slivovitz? Slivovitz. This is Slivovitz. I'm assuming that's Slivovitz, yeah. It's probably not pronounced that way, but anyway. Sweetened with honey. I've never sampled it myself, but one of my men swears by it. Slivovitz? Slivovitz. Slivovitz? Slivovitz is a plum brandy produced in Eastern Europe. It sounds kind of Russian, yeah. It was distilled in large amount by Jewish communities in Poland before World War II. Okay, it's Polish. While often very strong and bitter in its normal form, it's sometimes combined with honey to make it sweeter and less pungent. I prefer to take my sweets in something of a different fashion, though. Meyer hands me the glass, letting his fingers brush against mine for a moment longer than necessary. Thanks. You're quite the host. You expected anything less? Is he gonna get frisky with us? Wait a minute. Don't worry, I've got this. Spit it out. One's enough for me. I don't know, something sweet. He flirted with me. We didn't didn't get the same choices. I'm just gonna ask it. Why are we still back here if I did all the opposite things? And I'm not getting the next choices. These aren't even choices for... Anyway. Well, why don't you tell me more about your organization here? The organization, I see you're already using proper terminology. He purrs at me with an amusement in his voice, more teasing than patronizing. This is weird. We shouldn't be getting these choices. Maybe we do, and maybe we end up leaving. But it doesn't tell us either one of these options in Leslie's answers, the choices. So that's weird. Anyway, after a moment, Meyer clears his throat, gesturing around the room as if to evoke the image of a large group. We've had involvement in a variety of industries you might find to be unsavory. I won't attempt to deny that, and I'd be insulting your intelligence to proclaim otherwise. But here in Cleveland and some other parts of our nation, we see our trade as a proper business, as something to be discussed with cigars instead of shotguns. Vice, after all, is there to be commercialized, just like anything else that people want. Meyer's low, calm way of speaking makes what he says sound entirely natural, like he's a banker or lawyer, any other type of respectable professional. Maybe he really does see himself like that. I'm not sure how much Jewish history you're familiar with, but over the years, we've dealt with a great deal of hostile sentiments from Gentiles. Gentile? The term Gentile is used by Jews to refer to non-Jewish people. It comes from the Latin word gentilis, or gens, which means tribe or people. And now, my men and I face denunciation from our own people, many of whom see us as villains. Maybe that's why our organization is closer than family. But I'm not unhappy. I enjoy what I do for a living, and, more importantly, I like to think I'm rather good at it. It takes all types, don't you think, Richter? That's a funny question to be asking a detective. Are you truly a detective right now, though? Aren't you just a man, enjoying a conversation with his fellow man? He quirks one eyebrow at me provocatively, taking another sip of his coffee, maybe to hide his smile. He may be right, in a way. After all, if I were really here to do my job, I wouldn't be drinking with a mob boss, would I? You know, I'd always separated mobsters from real people in my head. Like you were all just monsters who'd lost your humanity. I'm just choosing the opposite ones. These aren't even in there. I don't think we did this right. I don't know how I didn't do this right. But anyway. Do you, have a lover? A wife? You must be right. Being the cat's meow and all. No. Meyer responds casually, offering a little shrug when I shoot a glance over at him. Is it my imagination, or does he look incredibly smug right now? Why are you wearing that expression? Are you so very surprised? Or maybe you're relieved? No, just surprised is all. I really didn't think you'd still be a bachelor. Huh. And why is that? Because I'm the cat's meow? Can we just get on with the next question? Okay. So this still happens. This still happens. This still happens. Don't worry, I've got this. Why am I doing this again? Spit it out. That's what I did the last time. One's enough for me. Why am I doing this twice? I don't know, something sweet. And he flirted with me. I'm really confused why I'm stuck. Okay. Weird. I did the same thing when it brought me back in this beginning, and it made me go through Myers' path again to get to this point again. That's really weird. Maybe you have to choose all the options? But that's weird. By choosing, don't worry, I've got this, spit it out, one's enough for me, I don't know, something sweet, he flirted with me, I should have gotten to this point, but... Is this the log? Yeah. Yeah, so this is the part. Weird. Anyway, I can't say I agree with Leslie about the Speakeasy deal. In fact, I'm pretty sure it's a key part of this mess. But I think he's right about the hotel party. If the gossip flows as freely as the liquor, and believe it or not, I'd like to spend more quality time on the job with him. Watching Leslie work is quality entertainment in and of itself. Yeah, okay, boss, you won me over. Party it is. Attaboy, Richter. Leslie spins around in his chair at top speed, apparently thrilled by my reply. Hopefully our supervisor doesn't decide to walk in right now. I think I'll send someone to the Speakeasy anyway, just to scope it out again. And that place has got to be important, somehow. Ignoring the spinning Leslie, I rub my cheek thoughtfully and gaze at the ceiling, pondering the situation. If another agent could get some more information from that place, maybe we can combine it with tonight's finding to form a better plan. I'll call Earl and tell him to head over there while we're still at the party. Well, good thing there's plenty of paperwork to keep us busy for the rest of the day. A whole stack of reports arrived this morning, actually. I was getting worried when you came in so late. Thought I'd have to do it all myself. Good thing we're a team, right, boss? He's passed out. Boss? I glance over at Leslie, who's gone silent. He's still slowly spinning in his chair, head slumped back. Is he... He's snoring. If I had a dime for every time this happened, I'd be a rich man. But no, all I have is this massive pile of paperwork. Well, you do. You have a piece of paper for every time he's done it, so you are rich with paperwork, my friend. Ugh. As Leslie enjoys his morning nap, I bury myself in the reports, poring over them one by one. That bastard's lucky I have such a soft spot for him. Otherwise, I'd tip him out of that damn chair and throw these papers at his face. Look at that pressure. The look in his face is like, I love him. He always looks so peaceful when he's sleeping, though. Not a care in the world. Innocent as a kitten. And you just want to stroke that innocent little kitten. That sounds really, really way dirtier than I meant it, but... And that's my dashing senior partner, all right. Well, we can see the crush. As evening finally rolls around, I manage to finish up the paperwork. Leslie woke up in time to help me with the last third, and we headed out to the party. Our taxi takes us to a lavish hotel, an appropriate place for a fancy gala like tonight's. When we get to the crowded parlor, Leslie and I decide to split up, so I'm left alone with a smattering of chatty guests dressed to the nines. Oh, I love it. Now we can find that. I do not know the history of this. I just know what dressed to the nines means, but... Dressed to the nines. To be dressed to the nines is to be dressed very smartly and sharply. By itself, to the nines usually means to the highest degree, and was first used in the early 18th century. Okay, so there's no reason why. To the nines. The ninth degree is the highest. Really? 10? Now we're just like, from a 1 to 10. Well, I don't know how to go to 10. I only know how to get a 9, and you're dressed to the nines. You're the top of the charts. You're the top of the charts, dollface. Anyway. I wander around for a while, trying to keep my distance while attempting to spot anyone a note, but it's too crowded for my strategy to work. I'm gonna have to get in the thick of it, aren't I? Working at these events is always a nightmare. Eavesdrop on the politicians. That's what we're supposed to do. I'm following the guide. Finally, I notice a couple of familiar faces in one corner of the room. Faces who were plastered all over town when they were running for election. And trying not to attract too much attention, I shuffled towards the pair, trying to overhear their discussion. You know how much dough I got from that guy, Gordon? Dough is money. Dough is a common slang word for money. The term sprang into use in the 1800s, likely due to the connotation between food, of which bread is a Western staple, and money. Heh, $5 grand? No, higher. I don't know, Al. 10? 15 grand, Gordy, old boy. And all I gotta do is pretend they don't exist. Sorry, that hurts my voice. Old boy. This term is used the same way we might say buddy or man in a friendly greeting or conversational sense. Old boy. Old boy, old chap. Where do I sign up? That's a good vacation right there. If there's anything Volstad's shown me, it's how two-faced politicians are. Even the people who say they believe in prohibition don't follow it, and saps like these two even abuse it to make money. It's one big lie that we all pretend is real, just like Santa Claus or the Easter Bunny, only for adults. Wait a minute, are you telling me that Santa Claus and the Easter Bunny aren't real? Gabe! Why? Why you ruin my life like that? Kidding. Spoiler alert! I'm sorry to have ruined the lives of anyone who might not have quite been aware of that, but we secretly believe all those movies are real. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to yawn, but it's like 2 a.m. Sighing to myself and yawning, I turn around and start scoping out a more promising group to join. Richter! Oh no, say it. A sing-song voice suddenly calls out my name, floating over the loud chatter of all the guests. A very familiar sing-song voice. Boss? Boss, you... Ah, there you are. Whoa. Leslie comes half stumbling towards me, crashing right into my arms. He drunk? I managed to catch him, considering he's lighter than a paperweight, but I can't get him to stay upright. He keeps slumping back onto me, not even attempting to stand straight. Boss, just what the hell are you doing? Shh, not so loud. We're blending in, Richter. Blending in. He's completely smoked, isn't he? Smoked? Another term to describe drunkenness. I can already guess what happened. Leslie can barely handle a single drink, and the champagne's flowing like the Nile here. Quick, take me to a broom closet. Boss? What are you... Shh. He presses a finger to my lips, glaring at me indignantly. I found some things out. Important things. Although we need privacy, and somewhere I can put my feet up. I don't know if I should be impressed or concerned that he got drunk so quickly. Well, it's not like I can really drag him home in this state, can I? I mean, you're gonna make out in the broom closet? It's gonna make me weird. What am I gonna do with you? I'm muttering to myself in disbelief. I help Leslie down the hall, away from the rest of the party. Luckily, it seems like the hotel staff planned ahead. A number of the doors are unlocked and open. For situations just like this one, no doubt. Ah, hotel room. Oh, God. We end up in a dark room, and I kick the door closed after dragging Leslie inside. Yes, because, like, you want your guests that are drunk, rich people to be able to get drunk and have sex in hotel rooms and not have to buy a room. It's, you know what that's there for. Now they'd make you pay for a room, but they were nicer to rich people back in the day. I don't know. I don't know. I wasn't alive in the 20s. Broom closet. You're off your rocker, boss. Deciding to deposit my senior partner on the bed, I move us towards it and gently, I'm so sorry, nudge him onto the covers. Maybe he'll just decide to fall asleep. Oi, oi! I said I had important things to tell you. Before I can step away, Leslie grabs my wrist and tugs me down onto the bed. Sit. What, is this some kind of impromptu meeting? Leslie leans back against the pillows and gives me a hazy smirk, nodding. His legs are stretched out across my lap, and he's still got his shoes on. He'll get dirt on the bedspread at this rate. Oh, taking off my boots. Hey, you're too good to me. I don't deserve a partner like you, Richter. I really don't. Someone's got to take care of you. True, true. I don't envy that someone. Our relationship is a running joke between us, but I've never been unhappy with how things are. Leslie takes care of me, too, in his own little ways. This is so adorable and sweet. Buying me food, teaching me French on the weekends, and making me stay home and bringing soup every time I'm sick. Whenever I need him, he's always there. This is fucking adorable, and I can't fucking handle it. Hold on. Sorry, I had an itch. Hello, Richter. Anybody home? Leslie snaps his fingers in front of my face, giggling to himself. You've been staring at me for, about 30 seconds. And that's because I was thinking about what a big fat hypocrite you are. Hypocrite? Me? Razzing me this morning for being hungover, but here you are, fried off your mind. Fried? Fried was one of many slang terms for drunk used in the 1920s and beyond. Well, nobody's perfect. And not even me. He pouts, fluffing the pillows behind his back and attempting to knit his brow into a serious expression. It doesn't work very well. Heh, I found out who's behind the booze at tonight's party. In fact, it sounds like he's pulling the strings in all of Cleveland. You're serious? Who is it? A fella called Eastman. Biggest name in this whole city's underworld. Meyer Eastman. My breath catches. Does that mean that man from last night was... Nah, it's probably not the same one. Leslie shakes his head as if reading my thoughts. He's tall, really short hair. Likes to wear a long coat. Low distinctive laugh. It's him. We stare at each other for several seconds, unsure what to make of this revelation. I can't believe I was actually drinking with the mob boss last night, let alone one who propositioned me for cake. But what surprises me most is he wasn't a bad guy. How's that? Leslie blinks when I unconsciously mutter my thoughts aloud. Meyer, he wasn't rude or intimidating, and he sure as hell didn't try to throw his weight around like you'd think. I guess I'm just thrown off by how normal he seemed. Like a regular Joe, and not someone in the mafia. Rather than poking fun at me, Leslie gently nods, exhaling a quiet sigh. Apparently, he's pretty well liked around here. And doesn't usually resort to violence either. And they say he's got a golden tongue, and he always manages to work out a deal to make everyone happy. I don't know how much of it's true, but if it is, then the recent fights around Little Italy would make more sense. You mean the crazy reports we've gotten recently? And the very same. And the Italian gangs are probably trying to regain the turf they've lost. He's right. Half of the reports I've got today were all about action on the east side of town. Myers' men must really be putting pressure on them. Just how much of a foothold does he have in Cleveland? Leslie rolls over on the bed, a glum shadow settling on his normally bright features. I expected him to be cheery about this new lead, not so grim. What's gotten into him? You know, Richter, sometimes I don't know if we're doing the right thing. His voice drops to a soft, hesitant murmur, the first time I've ever heard him so unsure of himself. Boss? You know, helping enforce prohibition. My shock must be obvious because Leslie lets out a wry laugh. I bet that has to sound rich coming from a drunk sap like me. You probably think I'm nuts, but to tell you the truth, I've never been certain of it all. Is it really the government's job to tell folks that they can and can't drink? Will a dry America really be a better place to live? Seeing folks enjoying themselves and relaxing, like tonight, makes me think liquor's not just for fun. It's part of our culture, our customs. This explains a lot. Okay, so that's why they tell you you got to do both sides before you go to the meeting, right? Between the three, because now we know that's what said, the other side. We know Leslie's side. Leslie is literally I don't know if we're doing the right thing. So when Meyer's going to be so here's my proposition, he's going to be I'm with you, boy. And we don't really know, because we're I'm in love with them both. I'll do whatever either one of you says as long as I can make out with you both. Do I get a man harem in this? Do I get a man harem? I know it's only 2, but I'm okay with this. I will be so thrilled if I get a man harem, but it'll kind of piss me off that I only get a man harem when I'm a man. Because when I'm a girl, I can't have a harem, but when I'm a dude, I can have a harem. But I don't give a fuck. I'm a happy puppy if I get my man harem. That's all I'm saying. Anyway. It's not about getting drunk. It's about the freedom to drink. Just like anything else. The freedoms we fought for since the colonists came over in their big stupid boats. He glances away with a self-deprecating, wistful smile. And now that I think about it, he's been a lot less enthusiastic about this job than our previous work. I guess now I know why. Did I ever tell you how much I wanted to be an FBI agent, Richter? Once, I think. Mom and Dad, they always told me to keep at it. I think they believed in me more than I did. And they didn't know why I wanted to hunt the bad guys so badly. The bad guys? He nods solemnly, eyes clouded over with memory. My parents were saints, but some of my friends, they weren't so lucky. A few had mothers or fathers who'd taken to the bottle and, well, the ones who didn't have marks on their bodies had them on their minds. It crushed me, seeing it happen to the people I cared for, being so powerless to stop it. And that's why when the Volstead Act rolled out, I was all for it. Surely it had stopped the same thing from happening to other kids. Leslie slowly trails off. Our gazes meet for a long, somber moment. But I guess I'm starting to grow up now. I know people will always find another thing to abuse, and something like liquor, something so core to society, you can't ever really get rid of it. So should we be the ones to help take it away? Away from the people who drink for fun, over dinner, to celebrate because they damn well please? And the soldiers who lost arms and legs fighting in the war, but come home to hear they can't even enjoy a shot of bourbon. I just don't know. He lets out another sigh, and this one deep and troubled. His eyes shut tight, almost like he's trying to fall asleep again. You're not crazy, boss. Leslie stares at me like I just sprouted wings. Well, maybe a little crazy, but for different reasons. About what you said, though, the more I think about it, it's hard for me to argue. I hesitate for a moment. Normally, I don't open up much to people, but tonight's proving to be a strange night. And in front of Leslie, I don't feel like I have to hold anything back. My pa, he drank. I guess it's all he had since, My ma died having me. Aww. This is so sad. Probably why he took off when I was a kid and left me with my grandparents. Richter. Leslie's fingers reached out to brush my sleeve, lightly squeezing the fabric. Hey, don't feel sorry for me. And they were good folks, traditional views aside. Grandpa, he was always muttering about how the law is what makes man better than beast. Every single time he read the police reports, he'd say that without fail. And the law is the highest order to uphold on earth, Grandpa thought. Aside from the Bible, that is. And so little Richter got that drilled into his head, did he? I nodded, smirking faintly. No crime headline to read in heaven, Grandpa. You must be pretty bored up there. He wanted me to be a policeman, but luckily detective work was close enough to count. When it comes to prohibition, though, I've always had my own doubts. Maybe the law makes us better than beasts, but the government's not the gospel. I don't know, it doesn't feel right to follow orders just because they're from the top. I joined the agency to help people, and not to make their lives harder. Anything that goes against that, I just can't put my heart in it, feds or no. By the time the last words leave my mouth, I feel like a complete idiot. Just because Leslie shared his story didn't mean I had to go and babble on. It's like I'm an old church lady or something. Ugh. You know, Richter, I really admire you. Leslie smiles warmly at me when I glance at him in shock. Where'd that come from, I wonder? Unlike most folks, you don't always take things at face value. And you stop and think. And you feel, instead of only judging. And maybe you should be the senior partner. Then I'd feel better about relying on you so much. I think you've got it wrong, boss. I'm just a regular old... No. There's nothing regular about you. Not to me, anyway. And no, you're a special breed of fantastic. Aw, that's so sweet. Thank you. He doesn't normally give me these genuine compliments. How the hell am I supposed to respond to that? I admire you too, boss. What I mean is Oh? Oh. Please, do tell me more. Well, now I've gone and done it. I can tell he's not going to let me get away with this one, so I'd better come up with something quick. I guess I really admire... That's the right answer, but that's the funny one, and I probably would have chosen that anyway. How adorable you can be sometimes. Sleeping, spinning in your chair, stuffing your face with cake. These are the adoring, endearing, weird little traits that you have that you wish someone would love, right? Just being a little awkward and strange. And you're like, why can't someone love my weirdness? Richter loves Leslie's weirdness. I appreciate that. Christ. Did those words actually just come out of my mouth? I haven't had a single drink tonight, so there's no excuse. None at all. God rest my soul. Oh, so you finally noticed. It's all about time. Oh, it's about time. I was preparing drastic measures to get your attention. Drastic measures? They're not important now, though, since apparently I've won you over after all. He cackles, obviously pleased with himself. This is why I shouldn't give compliments. Oi, Richter. Leslie's tone suddenly turned serious again. Almost too serious. And now that we've poured our hearts out to each other, I need to tell you something important. What's that? Well, I'm not just gonna bellow it out. It's a secret. I'll lean down. He impatiently beckons me closer. Curious, I scoot towards the head of the bed, leaning in to listen. I'm not sure what could possibly be so... Oh, God. A hand grabs the back of my hair and pulls me down. The next thing I know... Yeah. This is what we needed. This is CG. Leslie's soft lips are pressed against mine. The boss is... he's... This can't be happening. Did I fall asleep? Leslie holds the kiss for a little longer, fingers tightly curled in my hair. But after a few seconds, he lets go. I quickly pull back, touching a hand to my lips. He looks so sad. He looks like, you hate that? A mortified look of horror instantly crosses Leslie's face. I don't think he realized what he was doing either. Richter, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to... The booze... He covers his face with his hands, peeking at me through his fingers. It's like he thinks I'm going to start shouting at him. What, am I that scary? One kiss doesn't hurt anybody, does it? After a moment of hesitation, I lean closer to Leslie, gently pulling his hands away from his face. He's so wide-eyed and embarrassed. I'd better savor this look, because he doesn't wear it often. And just between you and me, boss, I've been wanting to do this for a long time. Richter. Oh, well. Now we're taking some initiative. And this time, I'm the one who kisses Leslie, pressing him into the bed. His hand flits back to my hair, fingers grabbing and pulling. A lot rougher than his normal ruffles, that's for sure. I'm not going to moan, but you can just read that out yourself. He lets out a soft whimper when I nip and suckle his bottom lip, playfully tugging at it with my teeth. We share a string of light kisses, but I can't keep myself from teasing my tongue into his mouth and savoring his little mules of delight. I'm in a daze myself. We've always had a close relationship, me and Leslie, but neither of us ever dared to push beyond that unspoken line. But as I cover Leslie's lips with kisses, finally embracing him in the way I've always dreamed of doing, I can't deny how satisfying it feels. I care so much for him, more than anything or anyone else. Boss, partner, friend, does it really matter? He's here with me. He wants me. And that's all that I can bring myself to care about. Our lips press together harder, forcing me to steal breaths in between Leslie's needy kisses. He's really getting into it. Is that his thigh rubbing between my legs? I swear he's so unfairly adorable that I can't help myself. If I didn't know he was drunk, I don't think I'd be able to keep my hands off of him. Finally, I draw back just enough to suck in some much-needed air. Leslie nuzzles against my ear, murmuring softly against it. I hope I won't forget this in the morning. But if I do, you have my permission to remind me. Yeah, sure. The full extent of what we did suddenly hits me like a frying pan in the face. I pull away more, jerking upright and letting out a cough, turning my head awkwardly to one side. Work's sure gonna be interesting tomorrow, eh? How the hell can we resume our normal business after this? I sure hope I didn't just make the dumbest mistake of my life. Maybe we should, leave the hotel and head home. It's getting pretty late, don't you think, boss? I steal a glance back over at Leslie, unsure how he'll respond. He's passed out. His chest slowly rises and falls, and quiet breaths flutter out from his parted lips. You'd think I would have seen that one coming. With a sigh, I slide off onto the floor, leaning back against the side of the bed. I guess I'll keep vigil and mull things over until Leslie wakes up. Thanks to his insistent touching, I can't exactly fall asleep right now. Got blue balls again. Poor us! Well, whatever happens after tonight, I can't say I have any regrets. You're really something, boss, that's for sure. And I like you just the way you are. Hypocrisy, narcolepsy, and all. I wouldn't have it any other way. Narcolepsy. Uh, hmm. I stumble into the office bright and early, letting out a long yawn. I haven't pulled an all-nighter like that since my college days, and now I understand why. Slumping into my chair, I glug down my coffee and try to slap myself awake. We got work to do today, so hopefully Leslie isn't too late. I dropped him off around 4 a.m. at his apartment, but he managed to get more sleep than I did. You know, maybe I should just go bring the whole coffee pot in here. I got a feeling I'm gonna need it. I rise unsteadily back to my feet, wandering back to the door in a haze. Just as I reach for the handle... Good morning! Ah! Oh. Ow! Do you really have to scream in my ears first thing, Richter? I'm happy to see you too, but really... Leslie pinches his ear with a grimace, frowning playfully at me. Oh, you look terrible. Sit down, I brought some donuts. They'll fix you up right quick. I let Leslie steer me back to my chair, and he stuffs a donut into my mouth. It's good, but I'd trade all the donuts in the world for a few hours of sleep. We sit in unusual silence for a little while, munching on our breakfast and sipping coffee. Normally we'd be chatting about various things right now, but I can't bring myself to look Leslie in the eye, not after last night. I've never felt so awkward in my life. Are we just going to pretend it didn't happen, or... Richter, what's the matter? Leslie calls out to me with a mouthful of donut, gazing at me curiously as he chews. He definitely doesn't seem fazed, that's for sure. You look like a kid who just got caught peeping up a girl's skirt. Really, what's eating you? I don't like the silence. It gives me the heebie-jeebies. Nothing. It's nothing, boss. Listen, why don't we get started on work? We need to go over the new findings. Uh-huh. He still seems pretty suspicious, but eventually nods. I can't tell if he's playing dumb or he really can't remember. You know, it's probably the latter. About Eastman. I think we need more information on everything, including him, before we go to the FBI. If we blow our cover too early, we'll risk losing out on more leads, more potential sources. We should play this smart. Agreed. There's still a lot we don't know. Leslie gazes up thoughtfully at the ceiling, twirling a pen between his sugar-dusted fingers. Isn't Speakeasy his base of operations? How many warehouses does he have? Are there other key players in his business? I'd say we need to send out some agents to figure out the key details. I don't want to rush into anything. Send out agents? That reminds me, what happened to Earl, the guy I sent to scope out the Speakeasy yesterday? I didn't see him come into work today, and he didn't call me like he was supposed to. Boss, I need to make a call. I sent Earl out last night, but he hasn't come in yet. Oh, all right, don't let me stop you. I reach for the phone and quickly dial Earl's home number. Ring, ring, ring. No answer. I have a bad feeling about this. I bet anything his disappearance is related to that Speakeasy, Eastman, and the Mafia. What did you do to Earl? Meyer, you're not supposed to be evil. Not good, huh? Leslie seems to figure it out pretty quickly, because he raises a worried eyebrow at me. Sorry. I grimly nod. Damn it. I should have just gone there myself last night. If something's happened to Earl, then... we'll get some officers and head over there this evening. Boss? Just a quiet investigation at first, and see if we can find out anything about Earl. If there's incriminating evidence, and then we'll turn it into a full-blown raid, but hopefully he's just at some cat house this morning hungover. Cat house? A cat house is slang for a brothel used commonly in the early 20th century. The term cat has been used to describe prostitutes, which is probably where cat house as a euphemism for brothel comes from. Leslie gives me a small, reassuring smile. It makes me feel a little better, even though a nervous pit still shifts in my stomach. Tonight it is, then. Attaboy. Ready to go over some more reports. Ready as I'll ever be. The rest of the day sinks into a blur of paperwork and coffee. Paperwork and coffee. Leslie and I busy ourselves with our mountain of reports, so there's not much time for the awkward atmosphere to come back. Considering how he's acting, maybe nothing really ever happened at all. Maybe I just dozed off in the hotel room and had a bittersweet dream. That would be sad. Hello? Richter! Hello? It's probably Leslie. Two hands roughly shake my shoulders. When my eyes struggle open a few seconds later, I notice how dark the sky outside is. Huh? Oh, wait, was I? And there's only one of us who can sleep for half the day, Richter. And don't try to steal my thunder. Why didn't you wake me up sooner? You were clearly exhausted. And those dark circles under your eyes make you look like a raccoon. It's cute. But listen, try to get more sleep at night, okay? I can't rely on a hazy partner to have my back after all. Look at his face. He's like, this is your fault, you know. And whose fault is it that I didn't get any sleep exactly? Mr. Bright-eyed and bushy-tailed over here. After we get our things together, Leslie and I prepare to head out to the Speakeasy. It's already late, and there's been no call from Earl, so something's obviously going on. Richter, wait. As I reach for the door, Leslie suddenly grabs my sleeve, tugging me back a little. About last night. I do remember it all, just so you know. This bastard! So all of today was just an act? I know. I couldn't pass up the opportunity. Please don't hate me too much. But I just wanted to tell you that... Oh, well, I'm sorry. He bites his lip, averting his gaze guiltily. It's the same look he had last night right after he kissed me. If you want, we can agree to pretend it never happened. Things can go back to normal. We'll just be regular friends, senior partner and junior partner. And neither of us will speak of it again, and we can chalk it up to me being drunk and stupid. Mostly stupid. Leslie loudly clears his throat, fiddling with his tie. Despite his self-effacing joke, I can tell he's being serious about this. Our friendship's important to both of us, so it's understandable, but... How do I really feel about things? It's not a question of liking Leslie, but last night's situation was... Well... You were drunk, so I feel guilty. Oh. No, boss. I don't want to pretend it didn't happen. Definitely not. Make out now. Even though I didn't know even though I don't know where things will go from here, I know for sure that I like you. You liked kissing me is what you mean. I thought that was a given. Well, you were really enjoying it. I felt that little... Oh! Oh, Leslie, girl. Or should I say, big surprise between your Yeah, right, good talk. Oh, right, yeah, good talk. Leslie snickers at my hasty response, back to his normal, smug self. Damn, girl, down. But I can tell he's relieved to clear the air between us. I am too. Hey, once we're sure Earl's safe, let's talk about this again, in a more private setting. Does that sound okay? It sounds great, boss. Did you just... Before I can finish, Leslie suddenly pulls me into an adoring hug, squeezing so hard I can barely breathe. He buries his face against my shoulder, nuzzling against it. I love the look on his face there. How can he make my heart ache so much? I'll never become a hard-boiled detective if I keep feeling like this. Sighing affectionately, I curl my arms around him and squeeze back, enjoying the few moments of warmth we share. Okay. Leslie soon pulls back, taking a deep breath. And then we nod at each other, just like always. If we hurry, we can get to the bottom of this and still have some time to get cannoli before the shops close. Richter! And you never told me you could read minds. I try to stay out of yours, too scared of what I might see. Clever boy. We head out side by side, determined but hopeful, the partners we've always been. I have faith in Leslie, just like he has faith in me. We'll get the job done, together. Welcome, gentlemen. Please enjoy your night. I wonder if any of this loud music rushes over me in a wave. Okay, no, it's not this. It's not different. I mean, it's not the same. The familiar sea of dancers, lights, and sparkling glasses. Phew! This place is quite a scene, isn't it? Leslie murmurs at my side as we walk along, glancing around the Speak. It's a little less crowded today, and they must have known you were coming. Oh, low blow. As we weave our way to the bar, my attention's drawn to a group of familiar figures. Those sketchy guys from the other night. It looks like there's more of them today. We probably should have stopped when we first came into this, because we're definitely not going to be able to finish it in the next 10 minutes, but I nudge Leslie's side and jerk my chin in their direction. He follows my subtle gesture, eyes narrowing faintly. We exchange no words, but I can tell we're thinking the same thing. Those are Meyer's men. At the bar, Leslie orders us a couple drinks, just to keep up appearances. We've got to find some way to ask about Earl, but we can't risk being too obvious about it. Jack? You finally decided to show up, hmm? When a certain voice calls out over the music, I freeze. If that's who I think it is, then... I was terribly disappointed last night, Jack. The expensive bottle of honey Slivovitz. I don't remember how to pronounce it. Wait, that's funny. This is different? No, it's the same. Okay. I got for you as my sole conversation partner. Sure enough, Meyer saunters up with his usual sly grin, leaning one arm against the bar. Oh. I see you brought a friend. Meyer turns his attention to Leslie, studying him for a few moments before offering a polite nod. And Leslie's like, stay away from my man. He's like, I wanted him first. Oh! I hope I get my man harem. I need this. Leslie does the same, sizing the other man up silently, but quickly breaks into a smile of his own. You must be Meyer. And Jack was just singing your praises. And you know, I can really see why. Singing my praises, was he? My gaze meets Meyer's, and he suggestively winks. Great. Oh, great, Leslie. Thanks for encouraging him. And who might I have the pleasure of meeting tonight? Leslie's the name. How do you do? Wait, he's giving Meyer his real name? Is he planning something? And they reach around me to shake hands, each still wearing a confident smirk. Oh my god, I have to move, my butt hurts so much. How do you do? Would I be correct in assuming you're a public servant like Jack here, Mr. Leslie? You'd be very correct. Oh, we met through work, actually. I see, I see. Very interesting. There's something uncomfortable about this atmosphere. What exactly is going on? And you, Meyer, what do you do for work? Curious you should mention that. I consider myself a public servant as well. Oh my, what a coincidence. I had a feeling, really. The second I saw you, I thought to myself, here's a charitable man, all right. I knew it. You may not believe this, but I had the same reaction. That noble air you have, why, it speaks volumes about you. You strike me as a dutiful sort of fellow, and I respect that. Richter's like, the fuck is happening? Wait, are they hitting... Oh, God! The real ending to the game is those two hook up and we're left out in the cold. With blue balls. Very, very blue balls. Now, something is definitely very wrong. And there's no way either of them is being serious. In fact, it almost sounds like... Actually, Meyer, I have a question for you. Pausing for a moment, Leslie glances up at the clock. It's only a quick look, but it seems deliberate. Of course. Please go on. The raid's gonna happen. You didn't happen to see a man around here the other night. Dark, shaggy hair, pointy nose, brown eyes, locks with a slight limp. Meyer brushes a hand through his hair, eyes slyly drifting to one side. It's very possible. And that description sounds quite familiar. But you know, Mr. Leslie, information often comes with a price. At that instant... Ah! It's the cops! Oh. Whoops. Oh, sorry. So, the speakeasy door flies open and a small group of officers rush in. Screams echo through the parlor after the music cuts off, but the cacophony quickly goes silent. This is basically where we were. As the officers pull out their guns, the mafia types grab their own pieces, pointing them back at the officers. Piece is slang for a firearm of some sort. I think we might have overread that, I'm unsure. Leslie, what? Richter, please. Leslie sharply raises a hand at me, and I fall quiet, stunned. This wasn't the plan we discussed. I thought we were supposed to wait for more information. Unless Leslie did this because he thought I'd be too soft on Meyer. I suggest you cooperate with us, Eastman, and give us the agent's location. Meyer doesn't seem nearly as shocked as he should be. How can he be so calm? He had no idea this was going to happen, did he? All right, I'll cooperate with you. But please, tell your men to lower their weapons. I'll do the same for mine, and then we can discuss things calmly, without threat of accidental bloodshed. Agreed? Leslie hesitates. There's a very strange degree of trust going on here, but I get the sense that neither of them wants it to end in violence. I know Leslie hurts hating anyone, even criminals, and Meyer doesn't seem the type to enjoy it either. Understood. Both of them exchange looks and simultaneously nod at their men, who slowly, reluctantly lower their guns. The tension in the room eases a little bit, though it's still far from calm. Let me preface by saying your man is safe. He's being held in the back room, properly fed and watered. In fact, he's already gotten to know most of the men. A very likable fellow. That does sound like Earl. That guy can get along with just about anyone. Why did you capture him then? And to use him as bait, naturally. Bait? Meyer nods, giving me a slightly apologetic smile, although he looks too pleased with himself about it. You see, after our friend Jack here showed up the other night, I was struck with an idea. I knew he was a detective before he so much as walked in the door. Your informant's working for me, so I decided to have a chat with him. You mean, back there, that was... Wait. Oh no, it's the same, but it's not... Okay, so anyway. Don't get me wrong, Richter. I was enjoying every second of it. But I've been looking for a way to work out an arrangement with the law in Cleveland for some time. And you're a hard-headed sort here, let me tell you. He exhales a breath between his teeth, gently shaking his head. Richter, however, I could tell he was made of something different, and not so hell-bent on enforcing the Volstead Act, and yet not the type to be bought either. I was intrigued. And so I thought I'd try to work out a deal, and Chili cruelly decided to leave me hanging, that is. And giving him my name was what you might call a backup plan. I knew he'd put it together soon enough, and come back when he did. Capturing your agent, now, that was a little more spontaneous. A little foolish, too, more than likely, but it's how I operate. His lips curl in a devil-may-care smirk, and he shrugs nonchalantly. You really had all this planned from the beginning. wasn't at a huge risk. Of course, but a calculated one. Meyer casually waves one hand as if brushing away my disbelief. Oh, sorry, buddy. I'm sorry, I felt something touch my head and I didn't know it was you. I got scared. Something crawling on me. Nothing ventured, nothing gained. I like to make big gambles, and most of the time they pay off. We'll play until we get to, the other thing. But I've done my research on your backgrounds, your past jobs. I knew you wouldn't simply raid my venue without showing a little of your hand first. So you could say the chips landed where I thought they might. It's suddenly all too clear how this man became a mafia leader. He's got the right mixture of planning, risk-taking, and charm, all wrapped up in one dangerous package. Phew. I feel like a man who just got cheated out of his fortune at cards. Leslie rubs his cheek with a hand, blinking rapidly, as if to try and understand everything we just heard. I can't blame him. I knew Meyer was sharp, but I had no idea he'd planned everything out ahead of time. I'll admit, despite the fact that your methods are incredibly questionable, you've made me curious. You mentioned a deal, didn't you? What kind of deal are we talking about here? Leslie... To my surprise, Leslie cautiously questions Meyer, one eyebrow slightly raised. I was expecting him to be furious, but instead he sounds more impressed than anything. I was hoping you'd ask that. Why don't we discuss matters privately on a neutral ground? I'll even let you pick the spot, all of us disarmed, with a few of our men waiting outside. A moment, if you don't mind. Leslie grabs my sleeve and pulls me aside a little, leading up to whisper in my ear. You really trust him enough for this? Normally I say it's suicide, but this Meyer, he's not like any other man I've ever met. It's like talking to the chief of a big corporation, not a mafia leader. See, this is all the same, that's why I'm kind of reading it fast. He scratches his head, clearly baffled. It's not like I can blame him. I felt the same way when I first met Meyer the other night. I don't think he means us any harm, boss. He's still a gangster, obviously, but I think he really wants to work out a deal. All of this would be way too much trouble otherwise. And honestly, I'd like to hear what he has to say. My thoughts exactly. And you think we should hear him out then? After a brief moment of hesitation, I nod. We're playing with fire here, and we both know it, but that's nothing new for us. If you don't mind me saying, Mr. Leslie, I gather you're the type to take precautions. Meyer pipes up airily, and we both glance over towards him. Should the two of you not show up in perfect health tomorrow, I'm certain I'll have a big hassle on my hands, and that's not what I want, I assure you. You really did do your research, didn't you? It's a favorite hobby of mine. So that means you know what size underwear Richter wears? Boss! I'm afraid you'll have to barter for that information. Oh, you drive a hard bargain, do you? I like that. I feel like my only ally just switched his colors. Great, just great. After a little more discussion, the three of us settled on a hotel room for a meeting spot. The unfortunate patrons who had to witness all that, well, they're sent home and promised free drinks when they come back. In this day and age, that's probably enough to risk being shot. Once that mess is sorted out, the three of us head to the hotel with our respective men. I can't even begin to imagine how tonight will end, but I have to hope for the best. My senior partner. Okay, so this is technically where since we've done both endings, the change happens. So I am going to wrap this part up here, and we will finish this probably in the next part. So I will see you guys next time. Remember to give the video a big thumbs up and subscribe to see more.